The Travels of Marco Polo, Chapter 47, concerning Genghis, first Khan of the Tartars, and his war with Akkad. Sometime after the migration of the Tartars to this place, and about the year of our Lord 1187, they proceeded to elect as their king one named Genghis Khan, a man of proved integrity, great wisdom, commanding eloquence, and celebrated valor. He began his reign with so much justice and moderation that he was beloved and revered as their deity rather than their sovereign. The fame of his great and good qualities spreading over that part of the world, all the Tartars, however, far off, placed themselves under his command. Finding himself thus at the head of so many brave men, he became ambitious to emerge from the deserts and wilderness by which he was surrounded, and gave them orders to equip themselves with bows and such other weapons as they were accustomed to use in their pastoral life. He then proceeded to make himself master of cities and provinces, and such was his reputation for justice and other virtues, that wherever he went he found people disposed to submit to him, and to think themselves fortunate to have his protection and favor. In this manner, he got possession of about 9 provinces. Nor is his success surprising, when we consider that at this period each town and district was governed either by the people themselves or by a petty king or lord, and since they had no general confederacy, it was impossible for them separately to resist so formidable a power. After subjugating these places, he appointed such worthy governors to them that the inhabitants did not suffer either in their persons or their property. Seeing how well his enterprises went, he resolved to attempt still greater things. With this view, he sent ambassadors to Prester John with a message, which he knew would not be heeded by that prince, demanding his daughter in marriage. Upon receiving the proposal, the monarch indignantly exclaimed, "How does Genghis Khan presume to ask for my daughter's hand when he knows he is only a servant of mine? Leave instantly," he said, "and let him know from me that if he repeats such a demand, I shall put him to a shameful death." The ambassadors, on receiving this reply, departed straightway, hastened to their master, and related all that Prester John had ordered them to say, keeping nothing back. Chapter 48, How Genghis Khan mustered his people to march against Prester John. Enraged at this reply, Genghis Khan collected a very large army, at the head of which he entered the territory of Prester John, and encamping on a great plain called Tenduk, sent a message warning him to defend himself. Chapter 49, How Prester John marched to meet Genghis. Prester John advanced likewise to the plain with a vast army, and took his position at a distance of about 10 miles from the other. At this juncture, Genghis Khan commanded his astrologers and magicians to tell him which of the 2 armies would win in the approaching conflict. Upon this, they took a green reed, and dividing it lengthways into 2 parts, they wrote on one part the name of their master, and on the other the name of Prester John. They then placed them on the ground at some distance from each other, and gave notice to the king that while they were uttering their incantations, the 2 pieces of reed, through the power of their idols, would advance towards each other, and that the victory would fall to that monarch whose piece should be seen to mount the other. The whole army was assembled to witness this ceremony, and while the astrologers were reading their books, they perceived the 2 pieces began to approach each other, and after a brief interval, they saw the one marked with the name of Genghis Khan place itself on top of the other. Chapter 50, The Battle between Genghis Khan and Prester John. Upon witnessing this, the king and his band of Tartars marched with exultation to attack the army of Prester John, broke through its ranks, and entirely routed it. Prester John himself was killed, his kingdom fell to the conqueror, and Genghis Khan espoused his daughter. After this battle, he continued for 6 years to make himself master of an additional kingdoms and cities until at length, in the siege of a castle named Taigin, he was struck in the knee by an arrow, and dying of the wound, he was buried in the Altai Mountains. Chapter 51, of 6 successive emperors to the Tartars, and their burial ceremonies. Genghis Khan was succeeded by Kuyak Khan, the 3rd was Batu Khan, and the 4th Alaku Khan, the 5th Mangu Khan, the 6th Kublai Khan, who became greater and much more powerful than all the others, inasmuch as he inherited all that his predecessors possessed, and afterwards, during a reign of nearly 60 years, took over the remainder of the world. The title of Khan, or Khan, is equivalent to emperor in our language. It has been an invariable custom that all the great Khans and chiefs of the race of Genghis, their first lord, should be carried for burial to a certain lofty mountain named Altai, and wherever they happen to die, although it be 100 days' journey, they are nevertheless brought here. While they are removing the bodies of these princes, it is likewise the custom for those who form the escort to sacrifice such persons as they chance to meet on the road, saying to them, "Depart to the next world, and there attend upon your deceased lord." They do this in the belief that all whom they thus slay do actually become his servants in the next life. They do the same also with horses, killing the best of the stud in order that he may have use of them. When the corpse of Mangu Khan was transported to this mountain, the horsemen who accompanied it slew upwards of 20,000 persons who fell in their path.